Hey, what is up everyone? I'm Piglet here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Pac-Man World 2 for the Nintendo GameCube / PlayStation 2 and Xbox and PC. So last time we have managed to able to explore around in the whole entirety of the snow world, and we managed to beat the likes of the forms of Pinky here. No, not Pinkie Pie, but Pinky, as in the forms of the Pink Ghost. So today for this episode is the fact that we are about to be moving on to the fourth world in this game, which appears to be the lava themed world. And if you couldn't tell already for this video length itself, this one might actually be currently the most longest video of this entire Let's Play so far. But anyways, let's get this thing to it and into the volcano, because we're about to be able to explore around onto, you know, the inside of volcanoes. Good, cool transition too between the ice world to the volcano themed level. So, you know, you get the idea for this point. Oh boy, we actually got ourselves even more crumbling platforms now. So this meaning about the fact that we have to deal with all those a lot. For the sake of clarity, for the forms of some progressioning goes. So, but either way though, there's not much else I can say for this point right here. So either way though, yeah, let's get this thing to it. So even then though, a few things we want to explain about this is the fact that, well, obviously according to today, is the fact that today's day is of course the 14th of July today, in this case in 2020. So for the sake of clarity, we've only got about 3 more days to go until when it gets to the point where the new Paper Mario game, Paper Mario the Origami King, will be releasing until likely 3 days left. So I'm really looking forward to that, and especially noticeable how the fact that, well, I've recently managed to able to finally complete it, Sticker Star, likely due to the fact that I have to 100% that game for about almost like 10 hours, which I will say I'm probably not gonna touch that game ever again. Well, at least assuming if some toy sales might do that Let's Play at some point, but not literally, just because, oh, I remember those guys, except the fact that they are kind of mean to me, because as you remember, from the likes of Pac-Man World, when he somehow managed to get himself invited for Pac-Man's 20th anniversary since Pac-Man World 1, that he becomes likely a Pac-Man's friend, but in this game in particular, he's now becoming a threat. Specifically, whenever you go right near to them, they somehow manage to go ahead and just explode on you. So yeah, think of like a tiny bombs or anything like that, but except the fact that, well, it's more likely like a poker from the... Good lord, what is going on? Oh man, I just cannot even believe I just got my massive knockback right there. Just for the sake of clarity when it comes to retro gaming and such, so... yeah, it's a bit of embarrassing, but oh well, we'll just have to go for that stuff, I suppose. Now, normally... oh yeah, we got ourselves another maze here, so hopefully we would be able to actually just get onto these mazes like these. So, oh yeah, by the way, something's worth mentioning also is the fact that the Game Boy Advance version of this game, Pac-Man World 2, plays out a lot differently compared to the console counterpart. That about the fact of the matter is though, is that you're going for the exact same thing as the console version, except the fact that much like in Pac-Man World for the Game Boy Advance, that you do somehow realize is the fact that they'll give us different amount of like level layouts, and especially noticeable with the forms of I don't know how do I explain this at this for the sake of time, probably because of how the fact that I'm more familiar with the console version rather than the Game Boy Advance counterpart. That's probably just me anyway, even though the story itself might be exactly the same as the console counterpart, except, well, the gameplay is actually remarkably different. Specifically, every time in Journey Forms event, I would say in the Game Boy Advance version of Pac Village level, for whatever reason, it just gets like one of the musics based off from the water level, which I'll discuss more about it whenever we get onto the water world and during at some point on this first day in particular. So, but either way though, we can expect this much. So even then though, as we noticing this from the start, that I'm probably not going to go for the Game Boy Advance versions of the Pac-Man World game specifically, because I have a major problem I have with it, such as, of course, you know, the depth perception, and also same applies to the actual, the levels has been cut out specifically. Although then again, I'll talk more about it whenever we get into towards at the end of the game, though. But I digress. So at least we did manage to accomplish, you know, collecting every single pack dots in the actual maze like these. So how's that for that? As well as, you know, some more top scores more than anything. So at least we got those as well. So, for the most part though, I think we did that pretty okay in terms of mazes and stuff like that. There are a few exceptions, as I said before, that I've seemed able to accidentally failed on, you know, Ice River Run, and especially noticeable that I seem to miss out quite a lot of mazes, like the ones in Treewood Forest, and especially noticeable with Butane Pain, and even especially noticeable with Avalanche Alley. And let's just hope if we can able to actually experience all three mazes in journey forms of this entire world like this. The only time exception, however, though, it was actually towards the end or something. But then again, we'll see what happens there whenever we continue progress in journey forms of this game in particular. So, but yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. Now, normally, if some people usually think about to ourselves, you can able to actually tilt the analog stick slightly until you're able to actually just to classify for getting yourselves a slow walk movement, which even then, though, it can be pretty useful if you really want to go for those little trickier segments, such as, of course, the actual Super Monkey Ball-like narrow paths or anything like that, except rather than controlling the ball, because, you know, we can able to instantly jump and ignore them. So even then, though, like, just like the ones that how it does in Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, that's for sure. But that was before when, in 2006, where the Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz did came out for that time, so... But I digress. So anyways, let's go ahead and just keep on going from platform to platform, and activate that switch in the process, so that way we can able to go all the way back to the sake of that specific segment here, and then whilst at it, then we can able to fling ourselves all the way back over there, and just activate that switch, so that way, only one melon? Jeez, what kind of coincidence was that? Okay, it's like the same thing as in Blade Mountain, when it comes to able to giving us only one amount of fruits that we can able to get, although I'm pretty sure we need that in the first place because of that extra life. So no idea what's up to do with this guy though, but I'm pretty sure we need to acquire a certain power-up in order to be able to deal with this guy, so we can at least... Oh, that's just unfair. You see that right there? Every time whenever I just got hit by any enemy's projectiles, they just want to give me a knockback, which either way though, you know, it always happens in retro games, including the forms of SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, by the way, and I'm pretty sure it might do the same thing in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, in the console version, but then again though, we'll get to that Let's Play and during at some point in next year at some time. Well, to be more specifically, the console version of the game in SpongeBob SquarePants movie game, so yeah. As you probably guys are probably wondering, what about the Game Boy Advance version? Because the Game Boy Advance version, it actually plays out pretty differently than the console counterparts, as I already established that earlier, even for Pac-Man World 2 as of lately. So, but either way though, let's just go ahead and be very careful around here, because otherwise, you know, in addition to able to dodging a lot of fireballs, we also need to dodge a lot of, like, steams, as you can see here. But here's the thing though, is the fact that the majority of those packed dots, as you saw, sometimes they always get close to the actual steamers, as you saw right there. But either way though, it doesn't really matter that I seem to able to accidentally die right there. But luckily we got a checkpoint just after that, so even then we can at least accept that. And of course, much like in any other 3D Mario games, this includes 2D Mario games for sure, that if you somehow touch the lava as you saw right there, basically it's instant death. So even then you just have to watch out not to, you know, get touched by the lava or even fire, whenever you want to be more precise with that. So, but either way though, it's like a typical standard kind of stuff. But anyways though, let's just go ahead and grab some more. Oh, Jesus Louise, man. Why is the hitbox just so dang big in terms of likely getting hit by a lot of steamers? Oh well. Alright, so let's be very careful and grab these 2 tokens in the process, and oh boy. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm actually very nervous. Ah, dang it. But at least we managed to able to avoid that, no problem. Ah, really? Ah, we could go from slightly towards the edge right there, but I think no matter what though, I think I should probably skip these little pack dots, I'm presuming so, because I'm always gonna be careless for the tokens as you see right here. Because of that though, I will try my best if I was gonna able to get some more tokens from there. Oh boy, this is a jump that it's usually have to be super precise with. But luckily for me, I managed to able to make it there, but sadly I did not make it to that moving platform. But oh well, at least we got a checkpoint nonetheless, because again, both the extra lives and the checkpoints are super generous with us for the most of the time. But I think this is what most people think, that the majority of this world might be pretty tough, but it wasn't until whenever we get on to the 5th world that some people found this to be easily one of their least favorite worlds in the game, especially, oh, okay, so there's only 2 strawberries on the sake of this level right there. I have no idea why for certain limitations and stuff like that, so anyways, let's go ahead and oh, there's only 2 oranges there too. Okay, that seems a little bit more shorter amount as it is, so I guess kudos to that. And also we got 3 apples and I think 3 strawberries as well, I think, so yeah, whatever. Son of a biscuit! Dang it, I was so close judging the distance there from that. It was right at the end of the level 2, but god damn it, I was literally so close. Just so that I can able to make that jump, but guess what? You know what the game tells me? Nope, I'm not gonna let you get to the goal that easily because you have to judge the distance. But either way though, oh well. It's not that far from here though, I don't think. But either way though, I just got so annoyed whenever I just missed my jump for the judge of depth of distance. But I digress. I think maybe I just did that a little bit too early, I think. Oh my goodness, that was close. Oh boy. It's gonna be one of those plenty of times where there's gonna be a little bit of a weird collusion thing whenever you're trying to able to grab onto that collapsing platform. But even then, I will point that out more on that whenever we get on to the final parts of the game. But either way though, for the most part, we are basically done into the volcano, so even then, no huzzah for that. Whew. And I think the next level we're going to be hitting to is, of course, well, after seeing this little grab thingy right here. So we're literally almost close for completing this level, if only if we could have able to get the rest of the actual pack dots from that, you know, dodging a lot of fireballs and steams themselves as well. Anyways, let's move on now to Volcanic Panic. So, but either way though, I think this is the level that we have to utilize the metal power-up a lot, even including the 3rd level as well, which we'll point more about it whenever we get onto that specific stuff. So, but either way though, oh, there's some more ghosts around here, so we can at least try and able to deal with them. But either way though, I do apologize for if I was keep on wandering around like an idiot. That's only because it has been, you know, quite a long time since I actually played this game. At least it doesn't count the actual some sort of like a practice run on this particular game back in likely in last year or something after completing the first game, sorry. Ah, no. God dang it, why is my jumper not even registering with me? Ah, oh well. We'll try that again, and hopefully we should be able to actually just to memorize any single parts throughout, so anyways, let's grab some more pack dots. And what the actual orange switch does is that I'm pretty sure it will able to deactivate those little 3 steamers as you saw. But then again, we'll point it out whenever we get onto that stuff though. So either way though, let's just go ahead and you know, keep eating some more pack dots, as you know. And I suppose hopefully we would be able to actually accomplish certain things like these. So, oh boy, this is where we have to make our leaps of faith here. And we need to jump for those little platforms, while at the same time trying to dodge a lot of those fireballs, even though they are... I have to admit though, they kind of felt unpredictable at times to dodge them, but that's probably just me. Oh wow, 2 checkpoints just somewhat close to each other. That's kind of odd for those video games nowadays, especially noticeable how the fact that they always attempt to have 2 checkpoints somewhat close to each other, but most of the other games though, they always attempt to have the majority of the checkpoints always goes like, I don't know, like super far away from each other. But either way though, that's just how I can usually think about it. But anyways, let's go from platform to platform, but at the same time not too able to fall off at the process there too. So we're at least expecting that. Oh yeah, something's worth mentioning to talk about the fact the matter is though, is that as what Mario and Sonic has not even mentioned about this, ever since any forms within Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 Let's Play, recently we decided able to actually change our minds when it comes to doing a Kingdom Hearts marathon. I'm probably not gonna able to go for more of them though, sadly, just because, well, the thing is about doing RPGs in terms of Let's Plays department, it will take a very long time to complete. I'm pretty much perfectly fine when it comes to doing Mario parties, Mario Karts, Mario games, or platformer games, and certain other games and stuff like that, and also some sports games, you know, as well, in rare occasions. But for RPGs, on the other hand, though, I'm probably not going to spend most of our time trying to able to actually focusing on RPGs as it is. Although I'm also able to be fine with, I would say for a little bit amount of those Kingdom Hearts games we'd love to tackle through, especially noticeable with, well, between both Kingdom Hearts 1, which, well, specifically Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, that Sonic still needs to get back into that game, and join at some point in September and stuff like that. And, eventually at this point, and I somehow failed right there, so, whoops. Anyway, as far as whenever when, some toys can do, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and join at some point next year, at some form or another. In this case, that particular game will take a long time to able to complete, due to the forms of, specifically in the Final Mix version, due to a lot of contents they have. So I'm also able to actually deal with Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and we're pretty much done from there. Son of a biscuit! Oh my god, why that platform is not going to work with me half the time. Or maybe it's probably because of that ceiling part just like to distract me, but... oh well. So yeah, as a result of that kinds of stuff, I'd like to do, aside from Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, I would love to able to tackle through for the actual Let's Play. Although the only game's exception is, of course, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, because I just despise that game so much. Despite the awesome fan base and stuff, but I'm gonna say I'm not a big fan of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, because, well, it just feels like a bit of a waste of my time. Although I'd like to do Birth by Sleep Final Mix as well, but that game does have a lot of opportunities of some people find a bit of frustration in terms of secret fights, most notably with, I would say Mysterious Vigor, if I would like to pronounce that. But as a result, if I was going to able to do that, along with the forms of different frustration of difficulty depending on what stipulations will come. So as a result, I don't think I can able to do Birth by Sleep Final Mix, sadly, especially noticeable with you know, Dream Drop Distance. Although I'd like to able to deal with Dream Drop Distance, and especially Kingdom Hearts 3, and even especially noticeable with Birth by Sleep 0.2, the Frementary Passage, and even especially noticeable with, you know, 350 over 2 days, and Recoded at the same time, and even Chain of Memories as well. But the thing is, I don't think those Let's Plays aren't going to happen, sadly, just because, although I understand with the forms of how the fact that the views count doesn't go nearly as high as in the forms of the every Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series, and even the Mario Kart games, and especially noticeable with, specifically Mario Party stuff, and even especially noticeable during at some point, like, let's just say during later on throughout the, in 2021, that we could probably do, after when we're done with the majority of the Mario Party games, enjoy it at some point in later down the road in 2021 or sometime, then we can at least able to do Sonic Shuffle as well. But then again, though, we'll see what happens during at some point during next year, whilst 2020 is going to be finished and done and over with. Especially noticeable how the fact that still 2020 is still considerably the black sheep of... Oh wow, did I just simply manage to fail the referral timing right there? I somehow managed to fail that. Oh well. And that's what I get for able to not doing the rest of the actual Kingdom Hearts Let's Plays. Even though I'm not going to call them Kingdom Hearts Marathon anymore. Just because, it's kind of sad, honestly. Just because I would love to able to talk about the rest of the games. But it's just, what the heck? Seriously? What is going on with that referral? I did not even let go of the square button, thank you. Oh jeez, it looks like the game's telling me that, oh, looks like you're fully charged enough, and once again, I'm gonna fail on that stupid part right there, and I just have no idea why I'm just laughing all of a sudden, so that's kind of rude. Anyway, let's try this again, hopefully fourth time's the charm, and thankfully, we can no longer try to able to accidentally fall off on that specific part right there, which I'm very, honest to God, very grateful for. But anyway, let's just go ahead and continue things on here. And this is where things gets a little bit tricky, because I think to me, it kind of reminds me of Crash Bandicoot 2, when you're trying to go for 100% completion, specifically if you want to deal with the actual camera back view. It's kind of like that, except the fact that we have to do with a lot of like shifting from climbing to wall or hanging onto walls or something. So, but anyway, but at least we got a checkpoint, and to top it all off, we got ourselves, I don't know if we actually got one melon or anything else like that, but at least if you manage to get the melon, then you would actually access to another maze. So, I think that makes it a little bit more of a delta for anyway, so, excuse me, I do apologize for that. But however though, what the thing we would like to do in terms of 2021 has to offer, especially for our channel's sake, we would like to decide to go for the one Kingdom Hearts Let's Play we'd like to do, and another Zelda Let's Play which we'll also be planning to doing, and also same applies to, you know, the majority of the Mario Party games, and also, we're starting to able to consider doing Banjo-Tooie at some point in the future. Especially noticeable how the fact that that particular game will be pretty much guaranteed almost becoming 20 years old for this year. Especially noticeable how the fact that recently, that both, you know how the fact that since April in Japan, that The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask has came out for 20 years now, and also recently in May the 22nd of 2020, that I suppose that Sonic has already mentioned about this since SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Let's Play, that so far Perfect Dark for the Game Boy, no, I would say for the Game Boy Color as well, if you want to count that version as well, but between both the Game Boy Color version of Perfect Dark, as well as the N64 version of that game, has now becoming 20 years old as well. Which I can't even believe the time itself just went flying by all of a sudden. But either way though, that's how it usually goes, especially noticeable with time lengths or time constraints or anything like that. It's usually just, you know, goes all flying. Like, seriously, it just always has to be like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and activate that switch over there, so that way we can able to let the lava decide to go a little bit down right here. So that way we can able to just, hopefully, we can able to finish the level like usual, so. And, thankfully though, we don't have to like, you know, deal with all this, oh, Christ almighty. I'm very kind of worried if my, oh, really? Stupid flames. Or in this case, for the sake of clarity, fireballs, if you will. And there's also another reason why that this video has gone long enough as it is. Especially noticeable how the fact that I always attempt to die a lot during new forms of the entire world like this. Especially noticeable how the fact that if you somehow touch the lava, much like in the 2D Mario games, that basically you instantly die if you touch the lava, so. Anyways, let's go ahead and just hopefully finish up this level, so we can at least able to bounce onto a lot of, you know, bounce pads in between. And let's grab an apple. Son of... Oh! Why does my jump button not even work half the time? God damn it. Oh my god. Sorry for a little bit of a yelling for this point, guys. It's just that... Oh, I'm just getting sick of my jump button not even reacting in time. Oh, that's just annoying. Anyway, so let's grab this another token, and grab another cherry, and it seems that we actually collected almost everything. Oh, wait a minute. I get a horrible feeling about the fact that since that I didn't see all of the pack dots collected simple, this means I might as well get a horrible feeling. I might as well be off by 1 again. Which, just like it informs of how it does it in, I would say in Canyon Chaos, that the last time that's been happened. But we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. And seems we got 99% and we gathered all the fruits, including the Galaxian, but let's see. Yup! I was once again off by 1 pack dot left in order to able to get 100% on. That's just ridiculous. That's the second time that's been happened, folks. That's the second time how this happens. But anyway, let's move on now to Magma Opus right here. Some people might find this level to be kind of annoying, only because of that one particular element at the end. But we'll talk more about it whenever we're able to come across it to one. So either way though, let's just go ahead and just kill these caveman looking enemies. And grab the checkpoint in the process too. So let's see what's behind us. So it appears to be a trails of pack dots line right there. Honestly, I have no idea how I'm supposed to make it through here. Can Riverroll do the trick? Nope, it doesn't do anything at all. Apart from the fact they'll just take you to the actual, you know, the lava itself. Obvious for this fact. But, anyway, there's not much else I can talk about apart from the fact that, well, recently, relatively speaking, that's all I can say. I don't think that's gonna help at all because of judging the depth of it or anything like that. Actually, I could able to actually utilize the actual bounce pad, so that way I can able to actually just instantly make our way for the sake of the forms of that specific point there. But either way, we did at least manage to make it there, so how's that for that? Actually, kind of think about it too, is the fact that where's the strawberry? Because I seemed to able to actually grab the strawberry for just about a few moments ago, but for whatever reason, it just somehow disappears on me? How dare you, game? How dare you? Anyway, so we'll just continue forward, and hopefully, oh god, this is the part that I always remember dreading this since whenever I managed the first time playing a game, since back in 2011, which is about 9 years late in terms of likely playing a thing after all. Or even to be more specifically, whenever I first time playing this level on the GameCube version, and I seem to always get wrecked, probably due to this enemy right here. Thankfully, if you manage to utilize the metal power-up as you see, then this will able to actually kill this enemy quite easily often, so best way you can able to actually deal with this guy, so that way you can able to just, well, get your opportunities to able to bug bounce onto that particular switch over there. And I wonder what that switch will actually lead us to. Well, aside from activating the, you know, the actual group of line of pack dots as you saw, which I think that will actually lead us to the actual token right there. So I thought I might as well able to actually go after that first, and then before we continue things on, then we can expect we can able to actually just to make things for the sake of time. But you know, you get the idea for this point. So I wonder how many tokens that we've got. We've got about, I think I would say 83 so far, which is actually pretty good. Speaking of which, actually, it's the fact that I was originally trying to able to show you guys the actual extra stuff of how this game offers us to. I had to admit though right away, after I realized about something, unfortunately though, the extra video is going to be cancelled, and especially it's not going to happen. This is pretty because of few number of things. The reason number one being is the fact that much like in Pac-Man World 1, I don't feel like trying to able to show you guys some of these extra stuff of how this game offers us to, And second of all is the fact that while I would like to able to discuss all new forms of some extra content about this game you can able to play through, especially noticeable how the fact that you know these little tokens that we've got throughout the majority of the game. What these tokens can be used for is the fact that you can able to actually access the arcade games based off from the Pac-Man's history. Specifically, you get Pac-Man, Pac-Mania, Pac-Attack, or if you're probably wondering what Pac-Attack stands for, it's like a puzzle game. And also Pac-Mania is like a 3D version of Pac-Man with a some sort of like an isometric view and stuff like that. And the final Pac-Man arcade game was actually by the forms of Miss Pac-Man, which actually becomes like a popular game after all. And I think you could also get Miss Pac-Man during the forms of in let's just say in Namco Museum Volume 3, and I'm pretty sure you can get the normal Pac-Man game on, to be more specifically, in Namco Museum after all, so what's the point of able to doing like this? In fact, the matter is though, yeah, it looks like I'm gonna fall into the lava straight away, but luckily, since we actually become metal this whole time, this means we are completely, pretty much invulnerable in terms of the forms of, well, in this case, we are invincible in terms of dealing with lava and such. So yeah, that's how it goes, eh? If you activate that switch, this will actually get ourselves a Galaxian, by the way. And I wonder what that gonna lead us to, I wonder. Just a, there's nothing else on that besides, so... Seems kind of pointless to show us from there, just because, well, I thought to myself, I think this is where we get the feeling that we have to utilize the metal power-up again, so that way we can able to go all the way back to the exact point again, so... Anyway, let's go ahead and focusing on the next maze, as you see right here. So, but either way though, that's, and also another thing is worth mentioning too, is the fact that you can also just manage to replay, those exact same mazes as you see one over there. If you manage to able to complete those mazes first, and then you would able to actually replay them for the sake of, like, fun or something like that. And that way you can able to actually just replay them in the arcade room and stuff, so... Yeah, that seems pretty cool enough as it is. And also this game still has a sound test here and there as well. So even though you can able to listen to some cool background music, including fans' favorite music of all time, which is of course the forms of the forest-themed world levels. So that seems very obvious for the sake of this particular answer. So, but even then, no, that's all I can really say about this for the most part. So yeah, I'm sorry to say this for this point, guys. Sadly, is that the extra video is no longer happening for the sake of the forms of, I would say by the end of, February or something. Oh no, not February, because February is already over. July, I should say, because of how the fact that, well, most of the time, well, especially noticeable, we don't mind this at all in Mario Party games, as well as the Mario Kart games as well, just for the sake of the forms of having fun and stuff like that. Well, the only time exception that we have not done is, of course, the battle mode videos in between both Super Mario Kart and especially noticeable with Mario Kart 64. But talking of which, actually, is the fact that since Sonic is still managed to able to be focusing on Mario Kart Super Circuit recently, unfortunately, that Sonic will no longer gonna be focusing on battle mode in terms of Super Circuit in general, because that game requires us to able to play with the Game Boy Advance cable link in order to able to play, you know, battle mode in Mario Kart Super Circuit, which is kind of a shame, and yeah, that's what I can really say about it. Unlike in Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii, and even Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, at least you can able to actually play battle mode, alright? But without even required to able to actually utilize with, you know, multiplayer in order to able to require to play it. So, but either way though, that's all I can really think about this for the time. So, either way though, let's just, butt bounce onto that specific switch over there, and that way we can able to actually open up, I don't know what this is going to activate. I'm pretty sure it's going to activate the actual, oh god, that was close. It will activate the actual trails of, pack dots. Yeah, that's as far as I was thinking of anyway. And then hopefully, whenever we gonna skip this entire whole thing, and we can get ourselves another checkpoint, and we got all the pack dots straight away. So, how's off of that? And before we continue, let's just carefully grab the actual Namco token, so we can at least able to actually keep that before we get on to the next checkpoint. So, for the most part, Magma Opus wasn't so bad, except in the ending portion, which I'll get to more on that later. But for now, let's go ahead and wait for a bit and let the platforms rise on itself and grab the fruits in the process, like cherries or anything like that. Grab the melon, and we need to be very careful not to screw things up here. And good thing there's an extra life right there, so now we get ourselves back on track for 30 extra lives. So, oh my goodness gracious me. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this is the hardest part about this stage, and that is, oh look at that, a Super Mario 64 slide style. Like, you know, you're going all the way down and everything like that, while at the same time, trying to deal with this slide segments without having guardrails and such. And thankfully, every time you're able to actually bypass those slide segments, then thankfully you get yourselves a freebie checkpoint right there. So, at least I'm glad that was being generous with us, especially noticeable how the fact that I think that's what the most gamers seem to think, that this part can get pretty difficult. But anyway, let's try this again. There's no way you can able to actually back up a little bit, so as a result, you're going to be come across into a lot of... Oh, thank God, another checkpoint too. Oh, thank goodness for that. Anyways, I think this is the last slide segment, so... Oh, really? I was literally that close as well. Ah. And we're getting towards the end of this too, so... Okay, so let's just go ahead and grab an apple and grab the melon, and oh my god, it's the exact same spot, isn't it? Even especially noticeable, it doesn't help about the fact that without any guardrails as being shown up, this also means the fact that you have to come across into a lot of, you know, death situations like these ones here, so... this could take a while. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh, so close! I was literally so close to able to make it for this point. Screw this. Anyway, let's try this again, hopefully for the best. And still managed to get flinked off in the exact same segment right there as in from before. Well, not literally the previous one that I've accidentally died on. Oh well. I'll try that again. Come on. Come on. Oh, son of a biscuit! This could take a while, folks. This can literally take a while. Especially noticeable how the fact that I swear I tilt the analog stick in order to be able to move freely onto that for sake of that segment. But most of the time, I just keep on falling off, and especially noticeable, I keep on almost getting screwed over, just for the sake of that ending section. But luckily, we've now finally made it, so... Good God. Oh, good Lord, man. That level, man, it can really just... gives me a lot of trial and error situations like these ones there. But let's see what progression I was in. I think I was like 95% done. So I'm missing 1 cherry and 2 strawberries, and I think that's pretty much about it. So, not bad. Not bad at all. So now let's move on to Clyde in a Caldera, or as I like to call it, Blinky, because we have no idea why they decided able to switch it over between different colored ghosts. Like this one, for instance, he's obviously Blinky after all, because, you know, he was the main leader of the ghosts, obviously, in terms of the forms of likely the fastest ghost of the bunch, but I digress. I'm just a little bit too much of a coincidence that is, so... But the game mistakenly calls it Clyde instead of, like, Blinky, so... Anyways, in this entire fight, as you can see, it plays out pretty much exactly the same as Blinky and Pinky's boss fight, except a noticeable difference this time, it just makes things a lot harder compared to the previous 2 counterparts. Like, for instance, we're no longer gonna have to worry about the forms of walking onto these bridges and stuff, and also about the fact the matter is though, unlike in the other 2 fights, that you're normally trying to able to referral onto that particular contraption in order to able to deal the damage, This boss fight is the only exception, because in order to able to deal the damage this time, then we need to able to butt bounce onto this glass container. You remember the forms of most of the boss fights in Sonic 3D Blast, in this case Sonic 3D Flicky's Island, that you have to able to only deal the damage of Dr. Robotnik in order to able to deal with the damage on a glass container. Think of like that, except it only happens just only once. So, and as a result, that's pretty much about it. So, yeah, that's what I can say about this here. So, oh jeez Louise. And also taking a notice from Mario Party 4, despite the fact that I've accidentally died right there, and I did not meant to do that, but anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, taking a notice from Mario Party 4, you know, with that minigame called, Chain Chomp FIFA, that, you know, with these little fire, steamy stuff, all those fire spouts, usually just manage to get around in the area, or around the battle arena, where there's, like, cracks on them. It kind of reminds me of that. Whenever you see those little steamy stuff during the actual battle arena like this, and as a result, it can get really difficult to avoid them sometimes. Especially noticeable how the fact that you can get hit a lot. So, yeah, you get the idea for this point. Luckily, there are some health wedges to grab, but there's one little tiny nitpicking I have with this fight though, is the fact that I swear to God, I was able to butt bounce onto its weak spot, which is on the glass container, but most of the time the game expects me to able to actually just to judge the actual the depth of it, and especially noticeable how the fact that to make matters even much more difficult than that is that I always have a hard time trying to hit exactly the right spots until you're able to actually deal the damage on the forms of Blinky here. So yeah, as a result, yeah, I apologize for that confusion aside, but it's just the fact that this game, for whatever reason, it just gives us a wrong name between both Clyde and Blinky. So as a result, yeah, I totally get the point right there. Especially noticeable since I've obviously known Pac-Man for ages, since the first time I actually played Pac-Man experience is on the smartphone, and that's all I can really think about it. Unfortunately, I didn't get too much experience of Pac-Man as much as a kid, probably because I was more into Sonic or Mario things. So, yeah, you get the drill for this point. So anyways, I think he's almost done now, so let's just hopefully, God forbid, not to get hit too many times. And, well, aside from that little stupid steamy stuff as you see there. But luckily though, again, much like in the previous two boss fights, the extra lives will able to spawn in every time when you get into the next phase. Even though the life doesn't come back, but the health do, go figure, if you manage to able to actually keep dying a lot. So yeah, definitely one of the hardest boss fights in the game for sure, but obviously it plays out exactly the same as the other two fights between Inky and Pinky. So that seems a little bit unchanged, except it's on a different environment and stuff. In fact, in order to be able to get from one island to another this time around, you have to basically just have to river roll, and God forbid if you're able to make it, then you would be able to actually grab some more health, grab some more extra lives in the process here, and that's pretty much about it. And there are rare occasions where sometimes Blinky's machine will like to able to go for one of those islands, and then you would be able to deal the amount of damage to the actual glass container. So what is up with the forms of that sound mixing issues right there? Especially noticeable whenever he does that attack. But anyway, let's just go ahead and river roll from here, and just, you know, come on, thank you. There's also a trick you can able to do by simply able to hit the glass container twice in a row in that exact spot, but I don't know how I'm supposed to able to achieve that, because otherwise if I somehow did, then sometimes I'm also able to go into the death situation, likely due to not hitting the glass container at the right time. So but anyways, I think he's only got one last hit point left, so hopefully he'll be done for good. So, but even then though, and I think that will pretty much wrap things up with the lava-themed world. It's a pretty interesting world, even though despite its simplicity, but apart from that though, it's actually not that bad of a world, even though it gets a bit aggressively harder as you progress. Even if you really want to go for 100% completion, then more power to you. So, anyway, we now receive the golden pear. So, how's that for that? Whew. I think I should probably just get some more drink out of it for the sake of the forms of this entire ordeal now. So I think, simply to say, we got the endings off at this point right there. So join me next time on Let's Play Pac-Man World 2. is the fact that we're going to be taking on probably my least favorite world in the game, which is the water world. So see you guys until on, well, God knows when. Later, fellas.